Can you believe that this is the 6th year of the Inspire Health podcast? It's unbelievable. 233 episodes later and 11 series, here we are. And I want to thank all of you for joining us on this adventure. This has been my absolute favorite classroom for learning over the past several years. And when Taya started to join me too a couple of years ago, I know she's really enjoyed this, even though this was stepping well outside of her comfort zone around speaking publicly with other people. So when I started the podcast almost 6 years ago, my goal of it was really to invite you to join me on my own exploration and curiosity. I was well aware of lots of different areas in natural health, and it's been a passion of mine for a long time. And I loved the idea that I get to actually have conversations with people that I admired or I wanted to learn more from, or new things that I didn't know too much about, but I thought sounded really interesting. And holy cow, have we expanded and learned. I mean, we've gone well outside of the box of even alternative healthcare. We've looked at the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the metaphysical, and even beyond, because I really feel like if we're going to talk about health, we need to explore all of it. How do we show up in this world? And our goal really with this podcast has been to make them completely accessible as much as possible and to normalize some of these conversations, because these aren't the normal conversations you hear most of the time. And the more that we're able to share the voice from these other people and get it out and have these conversations that you might not hear very much, or even conversations that are being squashed and censored, the more that we're able to share this type of information, we normalize it. We create a blueprint for what might be possible. And at the heart of it, that's really why we do it. We feel that this is important for the world, not just us individually, but as each individual expands and learns and grows and applies some of this information, we are creating the world anew. We're the ones taking part in creating what we think is possible. And so without these types of conversations, I think we limit what we think is possible. And so especially in this last series on creating new earth, that's the idea, is like, I think people are really getting fed up with the way things are in many ways, but it's like, how do we actually create something different? And we feel that sharing these types of conversations is one of the best way to do that. And if you've followed us for a while, we've done lots of different things, not just the podcast, but we've also done live discussions, we've done live experiences, we've had roundtable discussions, we've played with it in different ways because it's been a real fun for us to collaborate with all of these different people, and many of who've become quite good friends with us now. And that in itself has been another joy of running this whole platform. We've been running it as best as we can, and make no mistake, it is quite costly to run a platform like this, not just financially, but also just time and energy. And when you're managing it with kids and family and all the different things that all of us are usually trying to manage in our lives, we've still been doing the best we can to try and get it out in as many ways as possible and normalize these messages. And we are entering new times. I mean, we're in a time where there's an ever increasing amount of censorship on natural health, and particularly on natural health practitioners. And as I've mentioned in the past and talked about in other episodes, some of the different bills that have gone through here in Canada that are not only making it hard to say certain information, but even there's a lot of consequences potentially to it for health practitioners. So we've personally made lots of different changes around that, and we are moving into a time where we are needing to transition the way that we are offering the podcast as well as any of our other services, whether that's consultations, that's access to courses, retreats, workshops, all of that stuff. We are basically changing everything coming up in the next little bit. Tay and I have one more episode after this one that we're going to do together. I think that'll come out on February 15th, where her and I will do one more episode that's going to be available to everybody. After that, we are moving everything into a new platform called Inspire Life Private Member Association, and that will be able to be accessed at inspirelife.earth. That's inspirelife.earth. We'll put a link at the bottom, and I'm hoping that that will be active by the time you guys listen to this episode. If not, it should be very soon at that point, but you can check that out. And everything is going to be moved into the private sector. So we're going to be able to add in other benefits to members. We're actually going to have once a month, we're going to do an episode that is specifically geared to what members want to hear. You get to write in your questions, and then we will do an episode fielding your questions. We're going to have a lot of different fun things that I think we're going to be able to do more exclusively with the members. So You'll be able to go to inspirelife.earth, and then from there you'll be able to sign up as a member, and then you'll be able to have access to everything. And that's going to include the podcast will be there, consultation services will be there, the retreats and the healing immersions, as well as the courses and the books and all of that kind of stuff will all be in there once you are able to become a member, and then you'll be able to come in to access all of those offerings a la carte. This is a huge transition for Tay and I, and something that we have been looking into for a little while and trying to figure out how to actually put it together and make it work. And I think we are just about there. So we hope to see all of you on the other side, and we look forward to being able to still bring you some amazing content and life-changing information that I know has been incredibly impactful for ourselves and for many of you. I thank all of you for writing in and sharing with us your stories. And it really does fill Tan up completely when we hear an episode that really landed for one of you and opened up doors that maybe you didn't think were there prior to that, or episodes that really help to shine a light on improving your health or the health of a loved one. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, and it lets us know that the information that we are creating is landing and that it's still of benefit, and we're going to continue to do that in the best way that we can. The only thing now is that it's going to be under a private member association. So you guys will just have to log in to join us there so that it is secure and safe, and that we can have a much more candid conversation and dialogue with all of you. So thank you so much for joining us over these past 6 years, and we are excited for what comes next, and we hope to see you on the other side.